This is a friend of mine's Strat. It's a partscaster, but it's a really nice guitar. And he's asked me to do a fret level on it. And what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do with it is I'm going to try. I need my headset, excuse me. I'm going to try to remove this nut. I just want it out of the way. I could take the nut off of this instrument, and I probably wouldn't have to do this, but I really need the room. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and just be really, really careful, because I really don't want to break this nut. I can make another one, but I'd have to make it from a different material. And I made this nut. I built this nut. There we go. There's a shim under it. I built this nut, and I want to keep this nut. Can't remember. Yeah, I glued that. Usually, when you shim a nut or a saddle on a guitar, you should either glue the shim to the bottom of the slot like I did here, or to the bottom of the saddle itself. But I'm going to set this over here, and then we're going to tape up the board. Normally I don't do this, but normally I work on my stuff and not someone else's. And even though I'm not charging them for it, I still want to do as professional of a job as I can. And I want this protected. That ain't it, dummy. And yes, you can see that my hands are trembling. I'm really thankful that even though I have the trimmers and stuff in my hands, that I'm still capable of doing it. And what I've got this laid on. There's a radius block, a long radius block, has sandpaper on it. That's why this cloth is here. And I have the neck resting on that because I want to prevent as much as I can any kind of flex on this neck when I am leveling the frets. This would be standard on a maple neck anyway, but I generally don't take the frets on a rosewood or other board that doesn't have any finish on it. Alright, so now we have the frets taped off, and what I'm going to do, I've got a piece of basically copy paper that I cut out. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I cut out there, because the thing with it is you don't want metal shavings in these, in the pickups. And I know the viewing angle isn't quite ideal. This is how my bench is situated, and there's really not a whole lot I can do about it. I live in a trailer. I only have so much space. This bench is against the wall, so I can't and it's actually built into, this used to be a closet with the sliding doors. This is the center bedroom of a trailer. Okay, so that's what's going on here, and why the space is the way that it is. I don't have a lot of room, so I did the very best I could do with what I had. This was not designed to be something that I would do or use to make YouTube videos. So I have to make do with what I can. And now let me see if that clears. It's going to make some noise, but it'll be alright. And what I want to do now that I've got that covered, and I would highly recommend some type of magnification. You guys with young eyes, you might not have an issue, but for me, I need it. And I'm going to take and mark the tops of the frets. You guys have seen this before on this channel, but I just want to, I have this here because the thing with this, look, I'm a tech, but I don't charge money. I repair and work on friends, and before that, bandmates instruments, because we were all struggling musicians basically, and we could barely afford strings most of the time. So, you know, I taught myself how to do it, and that's how that goes. Now, one of the things that I would tell you is I straighten this neck out, and you'll see on YouTube, and I'm not saying they're bad. If I had them, I would use them. I made one for this scale length, but I'm talking about a notched straight edge. But I'll tell you a little secret about a couple of little secrets about fret leveling and notched straight edges, and you're going to get a bunch of guys, if you ask them this question, that'll tell you that this is not true, but it is. And you'll hear them say this particular thing over and over, and yet they don't think it applies to a fretboard. And it absolutely does. But wood, which is what your fretboard is made out of, moves. And over time, wood can move a great deal. Not to mention, an instrument that's been played a while can develop ruts and stuff in the fretboard and stuff like that. So using a notched straight edge to read the fretboard, to make the neck straight, sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. And so what you have to do is you have to use a straight edge across the top of the frets and get the top of the frets level, because this is what we're worried about, not the individual undulations in the wood of the fretboard, because they are going to do that over time. And so it doesn't make a dime's worth of difference whether you use a notched straight edge or you're straightening and making straight and flat the plane of the frets. And this is what you're worried about anyway. It's the plane of the frets, not the plane of the fretboard, because it moves. Period. And I don't give a flip who it is that says you have to have a notch straight edge. Sometimes those notched straight edges that you have to have ain't worth spit, depending on the instrument. So that's my 2 cents for people to say I don't know what I'm talking about. Alright, if we look at this, I don't think you're going to be able to see. I need something I can point with. Okay, here we go. When you look at this, it's barely hitting this first fret. It's hitting here and here on here. It becomes a little bit longer here. It's intermittent here, but then you see these center frets all the way down to about here. They are almost all the way across. Now when I get to the 12th fret, or probably more like back here at the 11th, I'm not going to worry so much about it because I put fall off the last time I worked on this guitar in these frets. And I will probably do the same again if I think that I need to. But we're just, no pressure, nothing like that. We're just working this fretboard. Whoa. And what I want to do, he had a problem, an issue, or he's having an issue with the low E string buzzing from here to about here. And if I look at it, I can see this fret and this fret were a bit higher, or I'm sorry, a bit lower than the rest of these. And if I look down here, I start seeing on this plane, it's a bit lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my leveling beam, and I'm going to particularly get this side off. I'm going to concentrate on it all, but I'm really looking. I'm not using any kind of pressure or anything of the sort. Alright, what I need to do is introduce some fall away past the 12th fret. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape, a couple of pieces of tape at the 11th. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. And we're just going to once again, no pressure. have to excuse my elbow. Actually, since I'm doing the video crap, we'll do this. That should be good enough. Actually, I think well, that's lower. I don't think that it matters. But from here back, we'll fall away. But when I look at it, I actually want to go a little bit longer. You have to excuse that you can't see. And I'll skip, but it's more important to me that this is done right than it is that you or someone else watching can see. So yeah, I have fall off here all the way down. This is a bit low, so I'm probably going to continue until because I'm hitting here. So I'm probably going to continue until I hit here, and then we will be back. All right. Now we're going to prep for crowning the frets. All right. This is what I prefer. It's a 3-corner file. It has a safe edge on it. You can buy all kinds of... Can you see what I'm doing? You can buy all kinds of fret crowning files. Some of them might be faster. But I've never found anything better than this right here. If that is what you're looking for, I hope that you can see that. But you see that's got a thin line on the top of that fret. Now I'm going to go ahead and go down all of these frets and make them right. That takes a long time. And we'll be back. you can use one of these files. It's got like a half round. If you are careful and you get the right size, they work quite well. But I still prefer this. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I have all the frets of it. I know it's hard for you to see everything. I apologize for that. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. But now that I have this done, I'm just going to wrap some 600 grit. Around my finger. Then I'm going to go along the edges of the board. I'm actually going along the edges of the fret because I don't want any little nubs or anything causing any issues. I'm going to pull this now. Actually, no, I'm not. Excuse me. We're not doing that. I just want the edges to be really nice and smooth. When you start talking about guitar, this part of the guitar is the most important part. I don't care what else you do to a guitar. If the neck and the frets are not right, it's not going to be a good guitar. So, I went 600. Now I'm going to go 1500. That's close to double. It's just a little over. What I'm doing when I do this, I want to round the frets over the tops of the frets, but I'm looking at individual frets, and if I see anything that looks different, odd, or that looks like it's not quite as round as its fellows, then I'll do a little bit more work. At this stage, with this grit, you're not really going to cause any issues with changing the level of the instrument, but some of the fret tops were flatter than others, and you can crown them, but some of them are going to need more work. That's just how. That's where I think a lot of people make a mistake or mess up, is because they don't want. They're afraid they're going to change the level with the sandpaper. They're going to change how level these frets are, and so they go ahead and pass by frets that are not quite as round as the others, so that they can do what they think is going to maintain the fretboard level. The last thing I'm going to do is polish these tops. with a 2000 grit in the direction of the length of the fret. And I'm going to go along the sides and just hit them a little bit. Now what I do instead of buffing them with a wheel or something like that, this is lapping film. This is, I think, these are measured in microns. I know this is 0.5. This is like 0.7 or something like that, micron. I use these in straight razor restoration, but I'm going to take this and polish these frets with it instead of using buffing compound. They cut metal, polish it up really, really well. This is equivalent to the green chromium oxide paste or the chromium oxide crayon people use on strops to truly polish their edge. Beautiful. All right. So now this is just mineral oil. You can buy the lemon oils and stuff like that. They are this pretty much with some scent in them. And I'm going to put it on, since I know that he's probably not done this in probably at least a year. I'm going to put this on really liberally. And I'm going to let that soak in for just a few minutes to make sure that the wood will take as much of it as it can or as much of it as it wants. All right. We're gonna wipe that off, clean it off. We're gonna make sure it's really, really dry, that there's none of that excess on it. I'm gonna go under here, make sure there's nothing on the under the neck or in any other place on this instrument. All right. Then, well, first of all, let's take a look at these frets, just to show you what they look like. I don't know if you can see them. I hope that you can. It doesn't matter, I know that they're done right. I just wanted to kind of give you a look at it. And then what I'm going to do, if I can remember where it was that I put that puppy. Aha! Make sure it's down there where it's supposed to be. And what I will do from now on is I will finish the setup. We won't be filming that. I just thought I'd show you this, but I'll basically put the strings on it, check the neck relief, or adjust the neck relief, adjust the action and the nut slot height if that's needed. I didn't take a lot off of this, so it might not be necessary, but it's worth, you know, I don't want to leave, I would not leave a guitar that I did any kind of work like this to the way that it was without checking first to make certain that the instrument is set up properly, because once again, setup is everything. You can do whatever, like I said, you can do anything you want to a guitar, but if you don't set it up properly, it doesn't matter. So, at any rate, thanks for coming along. I'll talk to you later.